If you're looking to create something and you want it to be engaging in a digital sense, how do you start, Bryan? What advice would you give to people?
What will create value for your audience? So it might be financial, it might be creating time, it might be creating a safe space, like whatever it is that you're trying to create for that person. You will not get engagement if you do not understand what it is that's going to create value for them. And I think it can be segmented. I think we've talked a bunch of times in this call about knowing your audience. So I think it's about, yeah, not generalizing, knowing your audience and connecting that to what they would be looking for, and then maybe delay a lot of those conversations around usability and UX mechanisms to actually drive engagement, and really figure out what that kind of core value you want to create is first, before starting wireframes, for example, which is maybe a starting point for a lot of product people with the product background, for sure.
Assuming you're the brand and you know what you want to accomplish, and you know it's got a commercial objective associated with it, what you need then is to understand, you know, what the hell the audience wants out of it. You might want to create a transactional sale or kind of an app download or whatever it is, right? But where's the value for the users, you know, and what do you really understand your users, and you know, have you segmented them, like Bryan said, into kind of, you know, boxes where you can go, okay, this is where we can add the value. Until you've done the research, you know, typically everyone thinks they know, but really rarely do they really know, you know, where the value is that can be created. So run the research, you know, then create the hypothesis for, you know, what the value is that you want to create for those users. You know, and then you kind of go through not that wasn't a UX part of the UX, but down the kind of, you know, a more testable kind of UX process to get where you want to get to, or you can kind of skip it and, you know, build the hypothesis based on that straight through to, you know, kind of a workable prototype, and, you know, see what works, but keep it minimal as well, and don't overload it with, you know, I'm going to solve the world by doing, you know, 100 different things. You know, it's a small user group, and it's, you know, it's a single thing that you think you can do to add value and improve someone's life, and then build it from there.
To keep it a little bit higher level, I think the first thing that you need to do is really immerse yourself. Really, I mean, we always say, like, going back to the value, but like, let's say in healthcare, right? If you're fortunate enough not to have actually experienced the sort of experiences you're designing for, that you're honest and you like really immerse yourself briefly, right? You don't need to go really deep, but that you make sure you understand like who your user is and what they're going through, right? Not on paper, but like actually do that. The second part is a really, really honest conversation on whether you should do that. And it goes a little bit, Bryan, into what you had just written, right, in terms of commercial viability. I think there are quick elements before you go too deep into the research to really make sure, is there something here or is there not? Because I think too often when the research drags on for too long, you're going to find something to do. You're going to convince yourself that there's something out there. Actually, the project might be handed over and somebody else who just gets a test, like, yeah, get this to market right before that clear go, no-go decision is made. And then something that Andy said just resonated very well with me. Well, the way that we sort of operate at Dawn is you can do a lot of things before you actually in the market, you just don't know. You can keep going forever, but I think the one thing that you'd have to go for is find out what really is the minimal thing that you can launch that quickly, and have processes then in place for figuring out what to do with that. You need to have a roadmap. I'm not saying don't. You need to have clear guidelines and guide and road markings to where you want to go. But ideally, you'll do that live in the solution, create a community, and then work with that community to expand the project. And this is where the beauty of engagement and like digital space of engagement comes in, right? Because you can do that without too much effort. And I think that's the part that I would say is one of the most important ones, is like, don't overcomplicate it in the beginning, because once you hit the market, it's going to change anyways. And then make sure that once you hit the market, that you actually hit the ground running and know where you're going.